The Thursday Murder Club is the latest mystery on Netflix, and the story's twisty ending must be broken down in detail to understand. With a series of books to adapt, and an incredible cast including Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and Sir Ben Kingsley, The Thursday Murder Club could become a hit franchise for the streamer. The new film makes some changes to the source material, including with Pierce Brosnan's character Ron, but it is true to the spirit of the novels. With some excellent mystery, some accessible humor, and incredibly skilled production design, spearheaded by Home Alone helmer Chris Columbus, there is much to enjoy in the new film. With such effective components, it is hardly a surprise that the Thursday Murder Club's review scores have been strong. The new movie has such an effectively charming spirit that it is certain to go on to be a big hit for the streamer. With such a detailed ending, however, it is worth breaking the conclusion down in detail. A member of the Thursday Murder Club killed Peter Mercer. The movie begins with the titular club coming together, discussing the mysterious death of Angela Hughes decades prior. The cold case seems suspicious from the outset, with Angela's boyfriend, Peter Mercer, claiming that he saw a masked man running away from her home after throwing Angela out the window. The masked man was never caught, but it seems obvious to everyone that Peter Mercer was the real killer. Regardless of this, none of the police ever had any doubt of his innocence except for Penny Gray, a former member of the Kent Police and a co-founder of the Thursday Murder Club, before going to hospice. Penny, believing there had been a miscarriage of justice, took the law into her own hands and killed Peter Mercer. This caused her to hide this particular case from her cohorts, with the club only discovering it after Penny had become too sick to work alongside them. In the present day, this matters because of the state of Cooper's Chase. Mercer's remains were buried on the property, and the proposed development that Ian Ventham is involved with would see the territory dug up. After Tony, the last vestige of hope for Cooper's Chase, is killed, Penny's husband John feels backed into a corner. He chooses to take the law into his own hands, just like his wife, in order to keep her guilt hidden. With a dose of fentanyl procured from his previous work as a veterinarian, John kills Ian. Unfortunately for them both, this whole plot becomes unraveled in the end. Rather than going to prison, however, John makes an important decision to end both his own life and his wife's. The film ends with a funeral for the characters, coated with a sheen of darkness and sorrow. An accident with Bogdan caused Tony's death. Naomi Ackie and Daniel Mays looking at each other while standing among senior citizens in the Thursday Murder Club. Of course, the main murder of the film has little to do with John and Penny's actions. Tony Curran, the co-owner of Cooper's Chase, is seemingly the only one looking out for the residents of the retirement home, and he refuses to sell the property to the developers. This initially casts him as a hero. Unfortunately, not everything with Tony is as simple as it seems. The man is actually quite crooked, as becomes revealed throughout the story. He and Bobby Tanner are involved in a scheme that sees them bringing in desperate men from outside of the country in order to work. When they arrive, Tony takes their passports so they cannot leave, and he exploits them for cheap labor. Bogdan, who is brought into work for Ian early in the film, is one of these victims. Tired of the oppression he has faced, and having a sick mother back home, Bogdan goes to Tony's house in order to get his passport back. Unfortunately, things escalate and, despite having intentions otherwise, Bogdan winds up killing Tony by accident. Cooper's Chase is saved, and Joyce joins the club permanently. The Thursday Murder Club discuss their plans around a table. The ending of the film sees the new iteration of the club forming, with Joyce becoming a more permanent member. Despite Elizabeth's ribbing throughout the story, a bond begins to form between the very different women. Joyce, as a former nurse, has something very special that she can bring to the club and has earned their respect throughout the film. In addition, Cooper's Chase is thankfully bought by the best possible person. Joanna, Joyce's daughter, invests in the property, hoping to make it into something even better. The beloved retirement home will live on, and the titular club will have further chances to solve additional murders in the years ahead. The real meaning of the Thursday Murder Club. Helen Mirren as Elizabeth using a magnifying glass in the Thursday Murder Club. Despite some genuine moments of darkness and some heavy themes, there is great levity in the film's script. All of the cast are given a chance to shine in some stirring moments, diving deep into harrowing drama as well as uplifting comedy. This balance is hard to find, but the film does it well with its surprisingly deep look at life and mortality, as well as good and evil. None of the killers in the film are the real villains. Bogdan killed Tony, but it was an accident and resulted from his own being victimized. The same is true of Penny, who simply wished to see justice done. John's acts, in killing Ian, are perhaps the most selfish, but they were done to keep his beloved wife safe. Nothing is perfect, and each of the characters have some kind of sadness in their lives. Elizabeth's relationship with her husband, who suffers from dementia, is an emotional one. His loss will come eventually, as it came for Penny as well.